Hello, Hivelings. This is Rosemary the Demon Assassin, and you are listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
You are listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approve Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. And this week it is Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. It is not Count It Out with Mike and Victoria.
That's my line, man.
What do you know? It is not.
I'm pretty sure I've said that line more times in 2026 than you have.
No. I say it. You know how like Chris Van Vliet says every time he goes to bed, he says three things that he's grateful for. Well, every day I wake up in the morning, I say, "Well, we are live, pals." That's how we start the day.
I know. I feel like you think you're joking, but something tells me that you do that. You wake up every morning and just say, "Well, we are live, pals." That's actually pretty
I say, "Well,
like
we are live, pals," and I say a prayer to the great Bill Apter for giving us the seal of approval. And then I start my day.
I love, not only could you not give your lovely wife top bill last week, you couldn't give her the We Are Live Pals either. Man, I saw the look on your face when she tried to take that from you.
She did take it from me. She said We Are Live Pals. I said, no, that's my gimmick, brother.
She tried it twice.
Well, she did good. I had fun. I had a good time there.
It was a great. I will say it was a great show. I really enjoyed. I was skeptical. I didn't know what to expect because you didn't tell me you were doing that. You told me you were going to grab an indie guy because I couldn't make the show. So you said, I'm fine. I'll grab like an indie guy or something like that, and I'll do it. So the day before we released the show, I see it in our cloud, and I see Counted Out with with Tyler and Victoria.
Not you two, okay? It's not Mike and Victoria. I am still on the show.
And I remember saying to myself, okay, I get it, but what's this show going to be? Because I know Victoria's knowledge and lack of love for wrestling. What can you guys possibly talk about for an hour? But man, it was so entertaining. I loved her trivia questions.
They were hard.
Fuck you, Chat GPT, because you kicked our ass.
Well, and like on my end too, it was so refreshing to like have a co-host that I didn't have to carry through the show the whole week. Like it was just a nice change of pace, you know.
You need new jokes there, brother.
Never. I'm an old man. I just recycle the same jokes all the time and laugh. That's what we do. We get to a point in our lives where we all become Alphondes and we just look back on the good old days and use the same jokes over and over again.
That's very true. Well, this show is about nostalgia because before we get into our very special guest of the week, I want to say happy birthday, buddy.
That's right. 6-year anniversary show, and we have continued the tradition of getting a guest to speak with. And
we didn't just get a guest this week; we got a whole bunch of guests.
Well, kind of, like depending on the day.
Yeah.
But I had the absolute pleasure to sit down with legendary TNA knockout Rosemary for a very unique interview, and I think that's something that maybe we should get to right away. I don't like to keep the people waiting.
No, let's get to Rosemary. It's a very fun, very, very cool interview that you did here.
All right, here we go.
Hello, Hivelings. This is Rosemary the Demon Assassin, and you are listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Over the last 10 years, my guest today has become one of the most decorated knockouts in TNA history. She is a former Knockouts World Champion and a record-setting 4-time Knockouts Tag Team Champion. I am so excited and a little terrified, but in all the right ways, to welcome the Demon Assassin Rosemary to Count It Out. Rosemary, thank you so much for being here.
Darling, it's an absolute pleasure.
So now, there is so much that I want to talk to you we about, right? We about. I want to
Depends
start
which
with
one you're addressing.
well, I'm hoping to get a little bit of everybody today here. And I want to start with TNA as a whole right now. Now, you have been one of the most entertaining parts of TNA wrestling for the last 10 years. You've been part of some of the most memorable, like cinematic, almost movie type segments that we see you bring to the table. How does it feel to get to bring this Project Lazarus and the Seven Sins to AMC and to a whole new universe?
Sometimes, darling, when the stars align and everything comes together nicely, you just have to see that this is now your quest laid in front of your feet and start walking on that path. 7 years since the bunny was slain brutally. 7 years, one for each sin that represents the fractured shards of our soul. This is all slotting in so nicely. The heavens are aligning. Everything is there. It is time to bring about this resurrection. Patience is our least favorite virtue, but it is one that has been coming in handy as of late.
And I feel like this fits in great with AMC as well. Because
Yes.
AMC, they've got, they've got their stuff that's a little out there. The Walking Dead is a little out there. Now, I think personally what you're dealing with is much scarier than anything that they've dealt with The Walking Dead, though. But I'm just saying this is a great team here with yourself and AMC.
Well, quite frankly, we're not a fan of zombies. We like things that when you hit them, they should just stay dead. They're such a hassle to deal with the beheading and whatnot. But so we do respect them as a cannon fodder army. It's a good choice to take. But AMC is wonderful because as soon as we signed the contract with them, as soon as we got onto their landscape, into their realm, all of a sudden we felt the tremors. We felt the undead realm start to awaken. We felt all the weirdness, all that power start to come back. And this is just another star that aligns, like we were talking about. AMC is definitely the place to bring that realm back, to bring that cinematic feel that you were talking about, to revive what made TNA different and what made us look different from everybody else for so long.
Absolutely. And TNA is full steam ahead with Sacrifice on March 27th, TV tapings on the 28th. New Orleans. Now, New Orleans, it's been known to have a pretty dark voodoo-y side to it. Do you have something maybe special planned as you continue your work with your list of seven sins heading into New Orleans?
Yes, well, we've got pride, we've got greed, and now we've got envy. Uh, um, as long as things keep going the way we are, what, 4 more weeks, and we should have our bunny back. This is perfect in New Orleans, like you said. There's so much voodoo energy flowing through the veins of that city. Every time we're there, we get up to something. So it might be time to dust off our chapeau and entice the likes of Baron Samdi and Papa Legba and see what we
Oh
can get
boy.
going down there.
Now, you did mention the remaining sins that are left. Is there a sin in particular that you are excited to get to or maybe a little nervous to address?
Well, we're trying to get the timing right going into sacrifice, but we do have a sin lined up for wrath. Now, thus far, we've seen greed was a good time, right? We went down to Swinger's Palace. We had some fun. We did some gambling. We worked the Mizarks, if you will. Um, Envy, we got to go and visit we got to go and visit Raven. It's always delightful to see an old friend, but this one, we can tell you, this one is going to be different. Because if we can find this person, this potential candidate, this potential sin, there is a danger behind it. After all, it is wrath, one of the most dangerous sins. But, well, we don't want to give it away just in case we can't find them. But
Fair
tune in
enough.
next week because this will be a different tone.
Fair enough. And of course, this is all for the quest to bring your bunny back. The
It's
wrestling
all
world
worth
was
it.
buzzing. The wrestling world was buzzing when they saw you guys reunite. And, I'd like to get your opinion on that. First of all, how great did it feel to reunite on TNA television with the bunny? And second of all, how did it feel just to see that outpouring of love for you guys and that wave of emotion when the fans saw you guys back together?
Well, do you know, just being able to get her corporeal form visible on through a video camera for the Hive to see. She is still a ghost after all, but to be able to project that to you all, that takes a great amount of power. You can tell we're getting stronger just that you can see her ghost form. And she has been dead for 7 years. She was very nervous that perhaps people had forgotten about her, people had moved on, people weren't interested in seeing Demon X Bunny anymore. So we've relayed all of these messages. She's been able to hear the outpouring of feelings, the excitement of the Hive and all of the fans out there waiting for the bunny to be resurrected and have another chance. She's very excited, that's what we.
I'm very happy to hear you using the word we again because I've noticed in some interviews I've listened to and just some of your language, you were not using the word we as much. And I know that you're somebody that has suffered a lot of losses over the years, people that you very much care about, people like Abyss, people like Crazy Steam, Havoc, the Valkyrie, the Taurus, and of course your bunny. But now that you are back in connection with your bunny, do you feel that maybe your powers are growing stronger again?
All the bonds are growing stronger. This resurrection with the bunny is all about nostalgia. We've been going and visiting. Swinger's Palace was nostalgia. Raven is a nostalgic visit every time we see him. And as you've noticed, you've picked up on things. The realm growing stronger, that nostalgia growing stronger. We have a sneaking suspicion there may be more visits from the past
Oh,
going forward.
I'm very excited to hear that for sure. Now, if all goes according to plan and you can bring your bunny back and you can resurrect her, could there be future plans at another run and setting a five-time knockout championship for you? Tag team championship? Is that something that could be in the cards that we could see?
Yes, we've already got this record of four. We go five, six, 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 six. Yes, more title reigns, more tag team goals for the realm, for the shadow. And finally, with what we started with the bunny 7 years ago that was stolen from us, we will finally achieve what we've so longed for. That permanent, who could possibly break that record? Let's just say it now, permanent record setting fifth tag team title with the bunny. So is this a warning to the Elegance brand? Yes. Yes, it is. Four more sins to go, ladies. We'll see you soon.
And I know that you definitely owe the Elegance brand one. I'm
Ah,
sure you haven't
poor freak.
forgotten. Okay, now let me just kind of bring it another direction here because the bunny is not the only reunion we've seen you have recently. You did cross paths with what I assume is now your ex-husband, Johnny Bravo. Your wedding to Johnny, one of the most memorable moments in TNA history. Can you take us back to that night and what you remember and any memories from this chaotic night of your wedding?
Johnny, what a good sport Johnny is, isn't he? We had to hold a divorce over his head for this long. We knew it was a very lucrative bargaining chip, and that we could get something for it. We didn't just want to set him free because he deserved it. That's come on now, that's not our style. But yes, he that it's difficult to talk about the wedding because it does paint us in a bit of a bad light. Of course, we were shocked that he got shot on our wedding day, but then again, if we're being completely honest and transparent, we were going to kill him on the wedding night and harvest his virgin blood. And then he went and tainted his virgin blood, so he's really no use to us anymore anyway. So that's a very complicated and distressing issue.
Fair
But
enough. But
we're actually, you know what? This divorce is wonderful. We can finally sever the ties, be done with that human. This is a good thing. We're
well,
moving forward.
that's what I was going to ask. Us humans were concerned, and we just wanted to make sure that you were okay with the divorce going on. It sounds like you're moving on just fine, though.
We're getting what we wanted, darling.
Absolutely. And we did see you in a very unique contract negotiation with Carlos Silva. Now, you seem very
There was nothing
pleased,
unique about it. It was perfectly straightforward and on the up and up.
100%. And you did seem very pleased when this was all said and done. Can you shed a little bit of light on what was making you so happy when this is done, or is this something we're going to take a wait and see approach to as well?
Everything is going according to plan. That's
Excellent.
what we'll say.
Excellent. Excellent. And of course, keeping with the nostalgia that we talked about, we did just see you cross paths with Raven again. Can you talk about your relationship with Raven? It's a very unique one for sure.
Yes. Well, when you've got an overbearing father, such as the Dark Lord of the Undead Realm, such as we do, it's very difficult. You have a lot of what is it you call humans call it daddy issues,
Mm.
something along those lines. Raven has become a mentor to us, someone we can go to where we don't have that father figure to go to. Well, we wish he was our father. Do you know, father does need a new meat suit now that his is sadly expired.
Mm.
Rest in peace. But maybe we could entice him. What do you think? Would he make a good Dark Lord of the Realm?
I think he's the perfect, perfect person to take over the realms of the legendary Kevin Sullivan as well, right? Like,
Mhm, mhm.
I,
He did
I,
say we're one of his favorites. We think
well,
maybe we could talk him into it.
now, who did you get along better with? Do you have a better relationship with Kevin or with Raven?
Well, Kevin did orchestrate the death of the bunny, so
Oh,
we
fair
weren't
enough.
particularly in favor of that meat suit.
Well, there you go.
But
So
it wasn't his fault.
this Raven meat suit. I see a T-shirt as well being formed here. The Raven meat suit T-shirt. I think we should get it out there.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do about this. We think he'd be down for it.
I I don't think I will ask this one, but I'm gonna put it out there. And
Shoot.
The blood of Tommy Dreamer. Do I want to know?
Oh, what this?
That's it right there.
Sounds like Raven.
1995, right? 1995's finest.
It's a good year.
I'm gonna just take a wait and see approach on that one. I think I'm a little too scared to even find out the answer right now at this moment, I think.
We'll let you know if it works. If something goes wrong, we can just blame Dreamer.
There we go. That's what most people like to do, right?
It's
Now,
an
of course,
easy target.
last year we saw you get to do something really neat. You showed up at NXT and you represented TNA wrestling there. What was your experience like being in front of that NXT crowd and feeling that love that the humans gave you in that NXT universe?
Yes, it was fascinating. That's the exact point we were going to touch on too, because you never know exactly how far your influence spreads, your reach is beyond the realm that you've set yourself up in. We've been in TNA for 10 years now, as you mentioned, and you're never really sure if people are aware of you outside of that bubble, outside of that scope. It might just be people who only watch TNA. So to walk out at NXT as a surprise and no lead up, no prep work, nothing that people could go and do research on and perhaps look up to see who's coming over. And walk out as a surprise and have that kind of reception. There was a moment backstage, much like we talked about with the bunny, thinking people maybe forgot her. We were standing backstage right before we were about to reveal ourselves and wondering, what if nobody knows who we are? Wouldn't that be a bit embarrassing? And then the music hit and all of the humans erupted, and it was very. Do you know this doesn't happen very often, Tyler? But it was very humbling.
Oh, wow. Touch the dark heart.
Yes. Sometimes
That's
it's good to be grounded.
Now, I can't speak to you and not mention Decay, one of the most beloved factions in TNA history. And I'd love to get your memories on one of the most memorable angles in TNA history, and that was when Decay invaded the Hardy compound. And just any memories you have from that crazy time and that crazy moment in TNA history.
You know, the centuries we've existed, the many meat suits we've inhabited, the many adventures we've gone on, that is somehow the first time we've ever had fireworks shot at us. So, something to be said about North Carolina. They fight differently down there. That was so much fun. We still hold out hope that Maxwell might recognize the power within him and come and seek a dark teacher to mentor him instead of his broken wizard father. We could really show him the power that he's capable of if he would just come over and practice the dark arts. We'll be a great teacher.
Percent,
But if
100%.
he doesn't, it's fine. I understand.
Now, you have competed in two Monster Ball matches, most recently against Zia Brookside. Do you feel
Two,
any? I think two you've been in, yeah?
at least three.
At least three. Okay. Well, you've been in a fair share of the Monster Ball matches. Do you feel extra pressure when you compete in a match like this, since, your mentors like Raven and Abyss are known to be the masters of these matches? Do you feel like a sense of pride to carry that over?
A sense of pride, yes, absolutely. We generally always feel a little touch of pride, but wait, no. We find ourselves feeling much more free in matches like a Monsters Ball or a Full Metal Mayhem or any sort of no disqualification. That is our playground. That is where we feel much more natural. And because of the kind of admiration we had for Raven, he is our all-time favorite wrestler, and the teachings, the education of how to structure your violence, how to set up traps, almost, if you will, in a Monsters Ball match, to be able to catch and lead your opponent into, and the instruction that Abyss gave us. And we feel very confident when we walk into a Monsters Ball, knowing that we have these tools and these assets in our corner, and the kind of training and the conditioning and the foreknowledge of what to expect, and to steel yourself against the pain that is going to come. We've been thrown into countless piles of thumbtacks, which just, we've seen so many humans just cringe at the thought of it, and it sucks. It's terrible, but you steel your mind for it. You're ready for it, and you fight through it, and you let it fuel you, and you let that tap into the wrath side, and all of our sins come in handy in a Monsters Ball.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I know you're very busy. You've got all your sins that you're working on and trying to
Mhm.
get the bunny back. So I'll ask you one last question here. And this one I'm very interested to hear your take on. With all the amazing things that you've done in your career, especially over the last 10 years in TNA wrestling, what would you consider to be the Mount Rushmore of Rosemary career moments?
Hmm. So that's four.
Four, yeah.
So, Delete or Decay, as we spoke about, was is just, if you want a good introduction to what we're about, go and watch that movie. um, let's see, the Death Dolls, the whole saga, really. Everything spawning from just us with the Valkyrie trying to go and find Havoc, and then locating Jessica instead, and learning to accept Jessica for the loud human that she is a good story. There's a particular one of our favorite matches, a four-way Monsters Ball in Dallas for Slammiversary 2019, with ourselves, Sue Young, Havoc, and Ty Valkyrie. It's one of our favorite matches in the entire time that we've been in TNA. And then, of course, number four is the formation of Demon Bunny and protecting Allie from Sienna, Laurel Van Ness, Maria, all those awful witches.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you so much for taking your time today. Do not miss Rosemary as she continues her quest to free the bunny, to bring the bunny back. TNA Wrestling is heading into New Orleans March 27th, 28th. Then they will be into Cleveland April 11th, Syracuse April 14th and 15th. And we look forward to seeing your quest continue. And thank you so much for joining us on Count It Out. And if there's anything that us humans at Count It Out can do to be helpful to you, we are at your mercy.
Just send us your energy, darling. Send us your sins. Concentrate on wrath. This one's going to need some extra strength.
Well, there you have it. Rosemary, thank you for coming to Count It Out to celebrate our 6 year anniversary. Crazy
Okay,
6 years, eh?
6 years. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I've been waiting for the show to do this. I haven't told you this in real life. That interview is one of my top three favorite interviews you've ever done.
It was so fun.
I absolutely, and yes, I'll give most of the credit to Rosemary because of what she does and who she is. But I'm going to be honest with you. I wanted to do that interview. I thought I was going to be in the interview. I just made a scheduling error and couldn't make it. I think it all turned out for the best. I'm so happy I didn't do that interview. I don't think I would have hung with that style of interview the way you did. You impressed me so much the way you really dove into that character, because we don't do those kind of interviews here. We don't do in gimmick interviews very often. So
I
for
don't
you to
think it's a
really
gimmick. I think
for you really to
that's
dive in,
Rosemary.
not to mention you dig your research on that. I don't think I would have hung as well because I'm not as caught up with what's going on in TNA at the moment. I would have been fine talking about her time with Decay and all that stuff and the broken universe. That's the stuff I know. The stuff that's been going on in the last 2-3 months, this Seven Deadly Sin stuff, I'm not up to date on that, so I wouldn't
Mm.
be able to do that. But listening to that interview really makes me want to catch up on TNA.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
can't wait
fun
to
stuff
see
they're
all the
doing.
things I'm missing. Yeah,
I popped really hard. So because you haven't seen it, and for any of our listeners that haven't seen it,
I've seen it.
no, not the interview.
Oh,
The sin that she did with Envy with
mm,
With Raven,
mm-hmm.
and somehow she needed the blood of Tommy Dreamer. And
I was going to
I
bring this
popped
up.
so hard when she actually pulled the gimmick
The
out.
fact you asked her about the blood, she's like, "You mean this?"
Yeah, that was
The
really
fact
fun.
that she had it like right there, like it was within her possession as you're talking. That it just worked out so great.
Well, and it was really nice too, because usually with when we get TNA media, it's a pretty tight window. You get about 50, usually it's 15 minutes, and
Yeah,
right before we came on, I was told that I had 20 minutes instead, so I got to get a
nice.
couple extra questions in
That's
there.
great.
I really like
5 minutes goes a long way with these interviews
it
too.
really does. And
Yeah,
these guys with TNA too, they're such pros. So like they
yeah.
know like if you play your cards right and you have the person that gets what these things are all about, you
Mm-hmm.
can get like a good 10 to 15 questions in,
1000%.
right? And
Yeah,
then you can chop that up and make some great content out of it, which was
absolutely. You look at some of the people we've done in the past, and they've done enough of these kind of interviews that they know who does a good job and who doesn't do a good job. And the ones that they click in right away, they know how to feed you and how to give you good stuff.
mhm.
Other than Rosemary, I think one of the perfect examples for me personally, anyways, was Sammy Callahan.
Yeah.
Sammy knew what we had right away, and then boom, you look how the stuff. And I've heard some of Sammy's other interviews. He's not like that in every interview.
Mhm.
I think Sammy, once Sammy knows, okay, this is the kind of interview this is going to be, he's a giver. We've had a lot of interviews like that from the TNA catalog
Steve
because
Macklin is really
100%.
phenomenal.
I
Is
love
really
every
phenomenal
time we
with
get to
these
talk to Steve,
junkets.
it's a good time.
Yeah, he's
Um,
really good with these.
and it's cool that we got Rosemary on our 6 year old sixth anniversary show, just because you and I are big supporters of the Ontario indie scene, and Rosemary Courtney Rush was a huge part of our scene
Mhm.
before she went to TNA.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy. That was a fun one. I was a little nervous going into that one, but it was
Of
really,
course,
really fun. And somebody like Rosemary too, like you could talk, like I could have talked with hours with
of
her. Like we
yeah.
barely scratch the surface. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm really enjoying the my new ending question that I'm asking people now. I've
I'm on the fence. I like it, but I liked your old one because it was very unique and no one else was doing it. So I'm very on
I
the fence.
I've segued away, and you know what? Maybe we'll get you guys to leave some feedback if for anybody listening. Um, I've started changing my final question to a moment that makes you smile. That's usually how I would end the interviews. Can you tell me a moment that makes you smile? So now I very specifically like to ask what they consider to be their career Mount Rushmore moments because I love the idea of Mount Rushmore questions, but I know that I cringe at
But
a
I
lot of
don't think the
them.
guests always do, and that's
Yeah,
where the
but
problem
that's why
lies.
I think that this tweak on it, I think the guests do enjoy it because they don't have to be like,
The tweak is great. Blue Meanie, as soon as I fed him that question, Blue Meanie's eyes lit up. He's like, "Wow, that's a
I think
great,"
yeah because like and I'll use CM Punk as an example because I'm going to segue into him in a minute here. But like I always hear people ask CM Punk, "Ooh, what's your Mount Rushmore favorite wrestlers?" And he's just like, and Cody says the same thing. I just make up stuff every time because
Yeah,
like I don't care about that question.
yeah.
But I think it's really unique to have people reflect on their own career. So it's like a twist on the because you're still getting moments that they're proud of. It's just a twist on it, and from a creating content standpoint, it makes a phenomenal reel to make. So
Not to mention, nobody loves a good Mount Rushmore more than our Lord and Savior Chris Van Vliet. And I find when
CVV.
we do that, it's an honor to see VV. So
Well, let's segue over. It is WrestleMania season. We do have a
Sure is.
WrestleMania list this
Speaking of
week
which, I do want to make sure everybody knows, both our listeners and the people waiting to come on the show, the people that I've reached out to that are going to come on the show, don't worry. I haven't forgotten about you. We will continue our championship series after WrestleMania. But as it is history, we usually use the month before WrestleMania to do 4 WrestleMania lists. So that's
oh,
what we're doing.
so
And
much.
we do it every year.
I know we're
Every year,
running
Mike.
out of list ideas.
We're
We're
not.
6 years in.
We're good. We got lots of
No,
lists to do.
I like
Lots of
to I
lists.
like the twist that we're doing this year. So
Me too.
we'll tell the people what we're doing. So
We'll do
Mike
that.
and I will each do a generic list. So this week Mike is going to be doing the top seven biggest pops in WrestleMania history.
Mm-hmm.
I have not decided what my list is going to be, and then we're also going to pick a wrestler. And this year we're going to go a little old school. We're going to choose each other's wrestler. Uh,
Any
and
day
do their
one, as CVV would say, any real ones that listened in the first year counted out knows that we used to challenge each other every week.
to do a list.
That we would pick each other's lists. That got difficult after a while, so we stopped doing it. But it's cool to do that on our anniversary.
So we're gonna pick each other's specific wrestler, and we're going to gauge their top seven WrestleMania matches. Now I know, listen, I'm gonna put you on the spot here because I know you
Yep,
wanted to do this at the end of the show, but I really want to know. Can we
but
do it now?
I haven't picked yet.
You haven't picked who my guy is gonna be
That's
yet.
why I said I want to do it at the end of the show because I have a whole show to think.
Oh my God, you told me about this idea a week ago.
It's a hard. I need. It's a hard thing.
Well, I have you narrowed down to three. But let's talk about wrestling then. I mentioned CM Punk. I mentioned Cody Rhodes. Pick which lane you want to go, left or right. You want to talk about Punk first
I
or
mean,
Cody
we're
first?
gonna talk about both. So let's start with Punk.
All right, CM Punk and Roman Reigns and the Usos are on the road to WrestleMania. I am enjoying this build for the most part. There are a couple things I'm like, yeah, whatever. I enjoyed the segment on Monday.
Yep.
I except for a couple of Punk's lines were a little questionable, but I cannot understand why we're talking about
Do you
Roman
think that
Reigns
was
being.
just there's no way that was the line he wrote, right? That was
I
just that just
honestly
kind of
think
came
it
out.
just. Well, let's watch our wording there. So, CM Punk accusing Roman Reigns of being lathered in oil and jizz.
Meant to, like I guarantee when he got to Gorilla, they were like
What?
jizz.
Yeah, 100%. I
I,
mean, I
I,
mean, you can kind of see on his like he played it off pretty well, but I'm sure he was kind of like, whoop. Like, there's no way that was like he's like I'm gonna say this in the back.
yeah.
Like, I don't know. That was a little
Hey,
interesting.
Roman, dare me to say you're covered in jizz?
Yeah,
Like no.
that was a little interesting. But I really enjoyed the segment overall this week. I think this week was my favorite segment that they've done so far on the build to WrestleMania.
Yeah, this build has been a little lackluster to me.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not digging the involvement of the Usos.
Hmm.
And I get it. They need the Usos there to fill the spot that Roman leaves absent.
Hey,
You
Roman
know,
is, for the most part, I think Roman's only missing like one Raw on the road to
true enough.
WrestleMania. He's been there.
I don't know what is going on with me this year, but I am not digging Jey Uso right now.
Okay,
I've
I'm glad you
I
said that.
I find, and which is weird because up until this year, the last 3, 4 years, I've been on Team Uso all the way. I've been loving everything Jay's done. I was a big supporter of him getting that big championship push. But what he's doing right now, playing this, I don't know if he's a heel or not, but this whole thing against CM Punk, I find his promos to be borderline incoherent.
Hmm.
He just comes out and he just gets mad and uses a bunch of slang and mumbles on his words. Even then, you look over at Jimmy and Jimmy's like, I don't know what the fuck he just said.
Yeah.
I'm not digging it, man. I want the Usos pulled out of this.
I am the exact opposite as you. And I actually
Okay.
have on my list that I want to talk about Jey Uso today because I am loving this brand new Jey Uso.
All
I think
right.
it was a much needed shot in the arm because
You're enjoying these promos?
oh, I love it. I absolutely love it
Really?
because I love it because they just feel exactly like you said. They feel the fact that he's mumbling and being a little incoherent and so passionate and fired up makes it feel more real for me. Like this guy is pissed off and he has a reason to be pissed off. Like
Yeah.
CM Punk took an unnecessary dig at his deceased, what is it, grandfather? I don't know where he fits
It,
in the
it
food
was
in
his
the
dad. It was his dad.
no. It was
When CM Punk took
it was Roman's
a
dad,
shot at
not
Roman's dad.
Jay's
Yeah.
dad, not Jay's dad,
Oh, okay, okay.
right? But
Yeah,
Jay,
that would be his like great uncle or
grandfather, a great
something.
uncle,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like for Jay though to be like, yo, like what the hell, man? You want to take shots at my family and to be so pissed off about it. And then you got Jimmy kind of being like the middleman where he's like, I'm not happy with you, Punk, but Jay, you gotta chill, you gotta focus. And what I really, really liked this week was that Jay called the shots to Roman. And that's never happened before. Like Roman
Hmm.
came out and was like, why are you guys in my ring? And then, you know, get Jay out of here. And I thought Jay's promo was great this week. You want to talk shit? Like I liked all of it. I was really in on it. I liked that he came out and was like, I'm here to fight. I don't care. Like he came out with this great attitude. Like the him and Punk, I thought had great chemistry together. And then Roman's like, get these guys out of here. Jay's like, nah, we're fighting. Goes to hit at, Punk. Punk lays him out. And then as they're taking Jay away after Punk's on the ground, Roman goes to leave and he's going, nah, you know what you got to do. Get him. Get him. And then Roman flipped the switch. And I've never seen Jay or anybody for that matter call a shot to Roman.
Yeah,
And
true.
I thought that was very interesting.
It does open up stories for post Mania
Hmm.
because the question is always, depending on what happens at Mania, where do you go after Mania? You always
Hmm.
have to think what's after Mania. This does open up things that because I mean we've been waiting for this Jey Uso heel turn for almost a year now, and they've
Hmm.
never really pulled the trigger. I'm not saying he's going to turn on Roman, but something can happen at Mania to kind of push into a whole new thing for Jey Uso. I'm just not digging the promos. That's my only
I
thing.
love him. And
I find them almost
I
incoherent.
thought I thought Jimmy's been really good at trying to
Jimmy's
keep
been
Jay
great.
out. Like Jay's like a wild card right now. Like he just
Yeah,
sees red
J-
and it feels genuine to me. I really like it. I
they've always had this
also
dynamic. Even back in the Bloodline days, they kind of had this dynamic. Where Jimmy would be the straight man and
Mhm.
Jay's the one going, I don't care what the tribal chief said.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
I like it.
I like that they're doing this dynamic again. And I'm hoping in the end that we see maybe Jimmy get a bit of more of a push.
Yeah. I
Because
also
Jimmy always seems to be the odd man out.
I'm also really enjoying seeing the bloodline on my television weekly again.
Yeah.
I just
I
it just feels it's crazy because it doesn't feel stale. And they've had such a
well,
long run. And I think that there's other
it's perfect timing because I'm done with the other side, the MTF, whatever
yeah,
the
they're
hell they
not
call
really
themselves.
vibing
They're
for
not doing
me.
it for me.
But
Yeah.
I would like to see maybe depending on his post WrestleMania direction, but I'd like to see maybe Jacob Fatu come
Mm-hmm.
in, maybe a new member, or maybe they take somebody from that side and
Well,
maybe a Tamatonga and bring
they
I
got
don't
they
know.
got Zilla sitting outside just waiting for that contract. They could always bring in
Zilla,
Zilla.
he's such a wild card. Like I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean it to be disparaging, but Zilla right now feels like the Teddy Hart of this family. He's a little unpredictable.
But he's so good.
Okay, was Teddy Hart not so
So
good?
is so is Ted. So is Teddy.
Zilla
But
seems like he's his own
I
worst
don't
enemy
I don't
sometimes.
think he's as problematic as Teddy was though. I mean,
He's young. He's definitely
yeah.
popped off. The stuff he was saying
Oh
with Brett
yeah.
Lauderdale. I
Yeah.
don't know. All right, well, let's shift gears. Oh, wait, one more question. As
Yeah.
of right now,
Mhm.
who do you want to go over at Mania between Punk or Roman?
I was gonna ask you the question, and I don't think I'm gonna have the popular answer here. I think I want to see CM Punk retain.
Mm. I don't have a problem with that. I just don't know where either guy goes after WrestleMania.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel we just get more interesting stories with Roman not being the champion after WrestleMania.
Yeah, and if Roman wins the belt again too, I think it should be a shorter reign. I don't think we need to see another like year-long reign.
No,
I'd
we don't
like to
need
see
that.
maybe even like a 3-month reign and have him get upset by somebody.
But I just don't think we need it yet. His like fourth long championship reign in history is still so fresh in our mind. I'm glad he hasn't had that title again since.
Yeah,
And I think we need a bit more time
I
between his two title
I would
wins.
also like Punk to go over. I think there's more to do with Punk
Yeah.
after Mania. Like I would like to see, and I'll tell you, this is my Mania. What I would like to see coming out of Mania. I would like to see Punk and Gunter, with Gunter taking the title after Mania. I think they should. I think it's time to put the belt on Gunter.
Uh, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm not going to agree with you either.
I also
I'm
know what
I'm on
I
the fence on that.
Gunter
I
is
don't think
the
Gunther needs to get that title back until after SummerSlam.
no, but this character that he has now, the I'm retiring everybody. I love it.
Sorry, what character? Because we haven't seen him on fucking TV in
Well,
6 weeks. What are they doing?
this is all what I want to kind of bring full circle here. Gunter
Okay,
right now, he's kind of the odd man out going into WrestleMania. It sounds like that it was planned for him and Rey Mysterio to have a match. Rey is hurt, probably not going to
yeah.
make it. So
Well,
what do we
which is
do?
a blessing in disguise. He's the
What
one guy I don't want Gunther to retire.
what do you? I think Dominic should be retired, Ray, but
One
that's
thousand percent.
whatever. But okay, so let me ask you this question because I have an answer for this that no one's saying.
Okay.
What do you do with Gunter at WrestleMania?
See the answer several weeks ago before they just stopped you. I guess there's still 4 weeks. We could still do something, but I still think because it's Mania, you need to ride this train you're on. This he's already retired three massive stars. You don't just let that go on Mania. There should have been somebody, and maybe it was Ray, but there should have been somebody for him to put down at Mania. I just don't know who that is now. Who's on their way out? One answer would have been Chris Jericho,
Mhm.
but by the looks of it, the contract status is not in our favor for that. It does not look like Jericho's anywhere near being able to come over. So that's not even a talking point.
I also think that if Jericho does come back, it should be the night after Mania, not at
Sure,
Mania.
I'm not going to argue with that. Um, who who's left, man? Who could possibly retire at WrestleMania that would have enough grandeur behind him to make anybody care? Because it can't just be, you know, Fandango. You know what I mean?
I have a name.
All right, I want to hear it.
I have two names. Okay. The first name is not a retirement one, but I mean
Okay.
this guy also has nothing to do at WrestleMania, and
Mm-hmm.
for most people he's a big name, but you could just shift with Gunter and LA Knight, which I'm not interested in that, but it's
Neither
two
am I.
guys that don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
LA Knight, oh yeah, he's the greatest, whatever, right? I don't think Gunter necessarily needs to have a match at WrestleMania,
Okay. I like where you're
but
going so far.
but wouldn't it be interesting if Gunter and Stone Cold Steve Austin cross paths at WrestleMania
I
somehow?
would be 100% down with that.
And Gun
Have him at least. You're 100% right. We don't need to see Gunther in a match, but
and
having him come face to face with a legend.
and you know, every year we see Stone Cold hit that stunner when he comes back. Whenever he comes back, I won't say every year, but whenever Austin comes back, he always hits a stunner and
Yep.
drinks beers. Well,
Mm-hmm.
what happens this year if he goes for that stunner and Gunter chokes him out instead?
Yeah, I like that.
They don't need to have a match. I don't need to see Austin do what he did with Kevin Owens again. I think that was a great ending for Austin. I don't think he should wrestle another match. But what if you have Austin come out to do what he did last year to announce the attendance, run over a couple fans in the front row, and then have Gunter come out and
Yeah,
tell Steve to leave his ring, and
I'm okay
Steve
with
won't
that.
do that. They can have, let Austin get his stuff in, let Austin go punch him, do the mud hole stomp, right? And then
Yeah,
when he goes for the stunner, Gunter hooks in the choke. Night night Stone Cold.
I mean, this could work with so many different stars. He's already got a history of mouthing off to Bret Hart.
I don't think
Uh,
Brett's the guy for it though.
you could do something with Bret, I think.
Brett's not in that physical condition where he can do that.
It is the night after Hall of Fame. You could have him beat the fuck out of Demolition. Uh,
Again, they're not as mobile as Austin.
I don't know. Okay, here we go. Stay with me on this, okay? Because I
Hmm.
don't know if this guy can physically do it with his constraints, but let's just stay with me, okay? This is of course the night after Hall of Fame. We do the Hall of Fame, oh, these people went in the Hall of Fame, this blah blah blah, blah. Headlined by Stephanie McMahon.
Hmm.
Gunther comes out to confront Stephanie, turning into something between him and Triple H.
Uh, I'm not feeling that.
No?
I don't want to see Triple H on my TV anymore right now. I need a Triple H break
When was the last time you saw Triple H on your TV?
every week.
What?
This
When?
guy is all over
When do you
WWE programming. It's very hardly
when do you,
pushed. It's
when has
very
he
hardly
ever
pushed. I'm not talking about coming out and doing angles and stuff. I just Triple H is on Raw, SmackDown, social media every week making announcements, making whatever.
almost like it's his job?
It's not his job
It's
because
100%. He's
I need a
100%.
I need a Triple H break. I just feel like the WWE is pushing so hard down our throats that this is the Triple H era, and I just need a break. I need a break from him. I'm not a Triple H hater. I'm
Wow,
not
it sure
like
sound like it.
I'm not like the whole Triple H is the worst booker. Da, 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 da. I don't feel like that at all. I just need a break from him. I feel like that they're forcing him down our throats a little too much, and I just want a little Triple H break.
All right.
Not from booking. I'm fine with his stuff, but I've just got like with the WWE, I've just got this like the corporate side of it has really been bothering me the last couple weeks. I'm just like they put out this Cody Rhodes bus tour. It's 10 grand to go on.
You never responded
Like
to me that. I sent you that and I never got a response from you. But
I
how
thought,
ridiculous
I
is that?
honestly thought I sent that to you already, but I guess I
Uh,
didn't. But
how ridiculous is that? You get to ride around in Cody's bus for an hour for now. Granted,
it's for a couple. It's for like
really
half a day probably.
it and the price tag is for 12 people, so it's really only $800 a person. But
No,
that's still $800 a person.
it's 10 grand a person.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's 12 grand for the group. It's 12 grand for 10 people.
Are you sure?
90% sure.
Either way, it's stupid.
But
They
it's still,
they're
even $800 a person is a lot of fucking money.
they're charging, I don't think it is $800 a person, by the way, but they're charging $31,000 to sit front row at Clash in Italy, and then you
Yeah.
get to make pasta with a WWE superstar.
Asta,
Yeah.
where did they come up with these ideas,
I,
man?
I just the corporate, like I'm just kind of over the corporate side of the WWE right now. I am enjoying the build to WrestleMania. Like I'm not hating on the WWE. Just a little too
Oh, okay.
much.
So I owe you an apology. It is $9,950 per person.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like if
That's
I'm paying 10
ridiculous.
grand, I want to come to Cody Rhodes' house and I want to watch him read a bedtime
I
story to his kid and I want to go swimming with him. I
I
want to stay at
I,
his house. I want to stay at his
I
house for like a week, like a
yeah.
month if I'm gonna pay 10 grand. Like Jesus, that's like
I I
five
want
months of
share
mortgage.
I want to own shares in Wheatley vodka after that.
100%. Like
Jesus.
that's literally like 5 months mortgage for some people. Like that's insane to me.
It
Either way.
is ridiculous.
Speaking of Cody Rhodes, let's shift
Um,
over. Cody Rhodes and
well, well,
Randy
well, hold
Orton.
on, hold on. I'm not done with Gunther yet because I have one
Oh,
more
okay.
idea.
Okay,
And
okay.
it's an idea that can't happen, but I want to hear your ideas of how we could make it something like this happen. Let's say they were going to create a match for Gunther.
Hmm.
If they're not going to lean into this retirement thing, I think you can lean into a story leading to a retirement thing.
Okay.
How do we get him involved with Paul Heyman at WrestleMania, which would lead a story ending at SummerSlam with him and Brock Lesnar?
I don't think we do yet. I think it's too soon.
I don't think it's too soon.
Paul is too busy right now.
Well, That's it. And if either Braun
And
or Bronson were available, at least because it would be now
I
it would be
think
Braun and Seth,
I think we are going to get Braun and Seth still. I am very much on
and
that
then
train.
maybe we could have. I would like to see this. Have Gunther beat the shit, even if it's not a match. Just have Gunther beat the shit out of Logan,
Hmm. I'm
and
not
then
that. I
have
don't
that
think so.
lead into a feud. I don't know.
Gunter, okay, but here's the flaw with what I see in your idea.
Oh, who's
Gun,
the other guy? Austin Theory. Have him just fucking
yeah,
murder
but
Austin Theory.
right now Gunter is one of the biggest heels in the WWE. Logan Paul also one of the
Will he
biggest
be
heels
when
in
he
the
goes up
WWE.
against Brock though?
In
You can't
Minnesota,
you can't put him up against a sex pest and expect him not to get fucking cheered.
he will not get cheered at SummerSlam if they work each other. In Brock's hometown, for what everybody knows will probably be his last match,
Yeah,
Brock is getting cheered massively in that match. And I just don't think it's too early to start building that. And I also think that, in my opinion, the match that the majority of people are most excited about going into WrestleMania is Brock and Obafemi.
100%.
And
I'm very excited.
and let's not take away from what they're doing. It's just going to
I,
overcomplicate
I
things.
but I didn't say anything about that. I don't want him being involved with Brock.
But if you're planting the seeds with Gunter and Heyman to get to Brock, you're pulling attention away from Oba and Brock.
I don't agree because Paul's already involved with Logan, and it's not like he's
But
only
you don't,
involved with Brock at Mania.
but Gunter needs to be a heel going in to get to Brock.
I don't think there's even such thing anymore.
Fair. There is a lot of
There's a
dwindling of
lot
the
of gray
lines.
areas. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
well, we can segue two ways then, because you mentioned we've talked about Cody, and we can segue that way, or we can talk about Paul. Let's go Cody first, because I got a unique
Sure.
Paul thing that I want to do. Cody
Okay.
Rhodes, Randy Orton. Randy Orton did the heel turn.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about that.
No,
I thought the heel turn was very effective.
100%.
I like that. I like that they didn't really mess around with it. There's just like boom right out of the gate. I would have the only if I'm being nitpicky, I would have liked Cody to have said something that rubbed Randy the wrong way a little more. Like
Mhm.
I feel like Cody had the right tone. Like, I'm excited. This is my mentor. Don't hold back on me. But I would have liked Cody to have said something that could have been taken as insulting to Randy, but wasn't insulting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish there was something like along those lines. I I'm going to continue to take a wait and see approach about this phone call thing
Yeah,
because
I'm not sure how
I
to
don't
feel
know
about
exactly what's going
this.
on there.
Yeah.
I'm not digging it, but if the outcome is cool,
Okay.
then I'm in.
Then in your opinion, what would be a cool outcome? Because
I
if it's Ric Flair or like
I don't know. Like
uh,
Flair makes sense, his dad makes sense.
but I don't want that. But even like
No, I'm
that's
just trying
not
to think of
he's
what makes sense.
and his dad, that's happened before. We've seen this. I
What
don't
if
know.
it's this will never happen? Imagine it's Vince.
Well, I mean, I think that'll be one of the most polarizing moments pops in WWE history. You think it was bad when they booed Hogan out of the building? Like this will be
Do you think that Vince would get booed?
not overwhelmingly, not like Hogan. There
I
will be people cheering for him, but
I sadly think he would get a huge pop.
in Vegas, Vegas is
Yeah.
pretty liberal.
It's
I don't
not
know.
Vegas though. WrestleMania is not just because it's in Vegas, that's not a
Mm,
Vegas crowd.
you're right, because there's people globally at the show, and I don't know, man.
I think Vince will get a pop, and it makes me really sad to say that.
Here's a question: do you not think though? Like I'm not upset that Randy turned. I'm not,
Mhm.
but do you not almost think that with Cody right now, things have become a little cookie cutter? If you
Yeah,
look the last three WrestleMania builds,
they're all the same.
it's always uh the very start of the build, Cody and his opponent get along. The opponent turns on him, beats the shit out of him, bloodies him all up, and goes into Mania. It happened with The Rock. It happened with John Cena. Now it happened with Randy Orton.
The blueprints are very similar. The deliveries have been different in all of them.
Yeah.
I do like that this year we are getting physicality between both of our main events because the last couple years it hasn't been like that. It's
Mhm.
been a lot of just promos against each other after the physical angle.
Yeah.
And I think this year, and I think that the pacing of both have been really good. And now I think Cody needs to have a big response this week on SmackDown. Because, beating up Zack Ryder, that didn't do it for me.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
You know what I
I don't
mean?
know.
Like that part didn't do it for me.
I am looking forward to the match. This is very similar to CM Punk and Roman Reigns for me.
Mhm.
I can't wait for the match. I really am not caring about the build.
I'm enjoying the build so far. I think this phone call thing is going to be the make or break of
Do
the
you want to know
build.
what my favorite build in for WrestleMania is right now?
What would that be?
Brock and Oba.
Yeah, oh, 100%.
That is the best build we have going right now.
Oba is something special.
Shit.
Does Oba go over or do you put Brock over?
I think you got to put Oba over. Me personally, I want to see Oba go over. Um,
I
Brock,
I, I
but
was
I'll tell you right now,
leaning,
my MVP right now is Brock Lesnar because
yeah.
Brock Lesnar is putting this kid over more than I've seen him put anybody over in his career. He
There
looks scared of Obafemi. We've
mhm.
never seen this before. I'm
I
absolutely loving
I
it.
have two
He's doing
mind
to Oba what the
frames.
Taker did for him.
I have what the Taker did. I
Yeah.
like that. The Taker.
Well,
The
the
Taker.
Undertaker, but
I just
yeah.
like the Taker. I've never heard anyone call him the Taker. I think I like that. I want to adopt that permanently. I have two mind frames on this because and they both make sense to me. If you are building to Brock's retirement match at SummerSlam,
Mhm.
it's not the worst thing to put him over somebody strong to have somebody beat him to make
Sure,
that
but you
person
have a lot of
stronger,
time between Mania and SummerSlam that
where you
he
can
can get.
rebuild him.
He this loss to Oba doesn't hurt him.
There is a way that Brock can win that makes Oba look strong still, and Brock is talented enough to do that. But then you go the other way, and maybe you just have Oba come out and beat Brock.
Almost
But,
thinking
but,
that they should do the Goldberg angle. Just
I don't want to see Brock get squashed. I just think like it would be an incredible moment, but then like I have no interest to see Brock after that. I don't think you save that.
I do want to see the because Brock has flat out said on that whatever podcast he just did this week that this return is very short lived.
Mhm.
He's doing Mania, that he's disappearing again for a while. So him beating Oba is almost
If they put Oba
doesn't make
over,
sense.
if they put Oba over, I need them to have a plan for what's next.
I think
Because right now,
as
I
long as
think,
he stays healthy, he's got this momentum going that the the sky's the limit for this guy.
but the sky is the limit, but the booking needs to be able to
100%.
get him there.
Yeah,
Because I don't think the original plan for WrestleMania was Brock and Oba.
I don't think so.
I think it was Brock and LA Knight.
Probably.
And I think that's very adamant by the fact that Oba did not eliminate Brock at the Royal Rumble.
Mhm.
So we're booking on the fly, and they're
I
making
mean,
and they're
did anybody eliminate Brock? Because the
uh,
camera sure as hell didn't show us.
and the meaningless double elimination with again LA Knight, which makes me
uh,
think it was LA Knight for Mania.
mhm.
I think they've made the right call if they are pivoting to Oba and if they are booking on the fly with this. And the
So
build has been
so
great, but the follow-up needs to be big.
how do you keep Oba's momentum going then? What do you do after, let's say, between Mania and SummerSlam? What do you do with Oba?
I think you put the IC title, you get him in the IC
I
title
love that.
mix.
I love that. So he's got to stay as one of the biggest baby faces in the company. Have Penta drop it, maybe even back to Dom. Have him murder Dom. I love that.
Yeah, or even the US title if you want to if he's on SmackDown. I don't know which
Yeah,
brand he's
whatever. I
signed
don't.
to.
I
He
don't
could
know.
answer Carmelo's open challenges. I think the IC title would feel a little bigger than the US
Again, I
title
don't want him to lose
personally.
it. I don't want him to beat a face. You know what I
No,
mean?
no.
So
But I do like Penta's run right
I think
now.
Penta losing it back to Dom and then Dom losing it to Oba would be very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of the roster off the top of my head. Like you could spin them off.
Because right now both those titles are held by baby faces, right? You got
Yeah,
Carmelo and you have Penta.
I don't know what Carmelo is, if he's a babyface or a heel.
I get babyface energy from him.
I don't know what he is. He's yeah, I mean he goes either way. Um yeah, I don't know. I think that some kind of a title would be good or a big program. Maybe if he's healthy, maybe Oba and Sheamus. That would be really fun.
Sure.
I would like that because that's a big name to go over, right? He's got to beat a big name again.
So I'm going to shoot really, really fast through the matches that are scheduled for WrestleMania, and then
Hmm.
what I don't want to talk about the matches. What I want to do is talk about what matches haven't been announced yet, and where we think they're going to fit. So obviously we've talked about Punk and Reigns, we talked about Randy and Cody, and we talked about Oba and Lesnar.
Hmm.
We've got Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley, of course.
Yeah.
We have that is set. We've got Stephanie McCurry versus Liv Morgan. That is
Hmm.
set. And we've got AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. That is set.
Yeah.
Those are the only 6 matches confirmed for WrestleMania. So who's missing? Seth and I'm assuming Logan. Yes?
I think it's going to be Seth and Breaker. I have a feeling Breaker's going to make it happen.
Logan needs to be on WrestleMania. What are we doing? We turn into a tag match? Do we
Yeah,
do we
I think you go him in theory against the Usos.
what, does that even yeah, okay. All right.
That's what they're
Yeah.
going. They're going after. Heyman said, "Get me the tag
Yeah.
titles to them," right?
Okay. All right. Sure. Yeah. I would prefer seeing Logan in a one-on-one, but
Me too.
um,
But I wouldn't have a
we're
problem if it was Logan and Seth. If Breaker's not ready, I'll take Logan and Seth again.
yeah. Who else? We got Drew McIntyre.
Him and
Are we
Jacob
are we, are we
Fatu.
still thinking him and Jacob? I think that makes
Oh yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Where are we going with LA Knight?
I
Yeah,
I don't know.
Dom and
Maybe him and Penta,
sure, okay.
him and
Dom and
Hayes.
Finn makes absolute sense. I
Yeah,
mean, they
I
haven't
think we'll
announced
get
it yet,
that.
but there's no way they're not going to do that. Any other matches that you see coming? They just haven't
Look,
announced
it looks
yet.
like they're teasing Trick Williams and Sami Zayn,
Okay,
which will be
I
really
want
good.
I want Trick Williams all over my TV at WrestleMania. I want Javon Evans all over my TV at WrestleMania. I would like here's something. You want something for Penta? I'd like the return of the Intercontinental Championship ladder match.
I was going to say the same thing. Ray Phoenix, Javon
Put in Trick
Evans.
Williams, Ray Phoenix,
No,
Javon
give me
Evans.
Trick and Sammy. I like Trick and Sammy.
All
I'd
right.
like to keep that single.
But Javon Evans, Penta would be fun in that match
Hmm.
regardless. Uh, yeah, bring me back that match.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
I'm totally cool with that. I think we'll get the four-way for the women's tag titles with Lash.
At Mania, you think so?
Yeah, I think that's a good
Yeah.
match for Mania. I think
Okay.
you get the Bellas in there, Nia and Legend, Bailey and Valkyria, and um why am I drawing a blank on the fourth team?
Because I am too. Yeah.
Alexa and Charlotte. Sorry,
Oh, right.
you can't have Mania without Charlotte Flair on it.
No, you cannot.
I don't agree with that. It looks like we're gonna get possibly Tiffany Stratton against Julia for the U.S. title as well has been talked about.
So that's between 2 nights. We're looking at least 5, if not 6, women's matches. That's
It's great. And they've also
that's
been
fantastic.
they're also doing something with Io Sky, Asuka, and Kier Sane.
Okay. Yeah.
Possibly a triple threat could be there.
Yep.
Maybe a singles match between Io and Sane. I don't know, but or not Io, sorry, Asuka and Sane. But yeah,
So
that's a strong Mania card this year.
I'm going to take a step out of Mania. Before we get to our list, I have
Mhm.
one. Do you have anything else?
I got a
Or
couple. Yeah, I got a couple
okay,
things.
I have one more thing I want to talk about, and
Yeah,
then
you
I'll
go with
let
yours
you
first. Yeah.
you do. I want to talk about something. This is not necessarily Mania involved. Something we haven't talked about at all, you and I. And I feel like we're going to be on 2 separate pages, but a lot of times you do surprise me sometimes. So I want to go at it. I want to talk about Danhausen.
Okay.
And I want to talk about how impressive it is that he took one of the worst debuts in company history
Mhm.
and has turned it into he is now somebody people want to see on television every week.
Yeah.
He's yet to even have a match, and I don't even think he needs to. He People love everything he's done on television. He has three of the five top selling t-shirts in WWE right now,
Mhm.
all after what people thought was dead on arrival.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with everything Danhausen is doing. He makes me laugh every week. I love all the segments he's done so far.
Mhm.
The stuff he's doing with the Miz, the stuff he's doing with the New Day. The New Day thing, the stuff he's doing with the Bellas.
Mhm.
I laugh every single week. I cannot wait to see what they have planned for Danhausen in the future. So this is a double-sided question. Question number one,
Mhm.
how do you feel? Are you on the same page as me? How do you feel about Danhausen after Elimination Chamber? And what do you want to see from Danhausen moving forward?
I'll answer the second part first. I think
Mhm.
Danhausen should be the host of WrestleMania.
Love that.
I think
Love
that's
that.
that's the place for him to be for
Sure.
WrestleMania. I,
Mhm.
I will agree with a lot of the things that you said. I think that Danhausen has done a great job of turning an awful debut into a lot of
What's the old
gold.
line Bruce Pritchard loves to say? Turning chicken shit into chicken salad.
Yeah, and who knows, that debut could have been intentionally bad on purpose for all we know.
Maybe.
Um, I worry that they are giving us too much Danhausen every week.
I've heard you say that before. I don't think I agree with you just because the segments are always quite short.
But it's not just
It's not,
limited to TV.
yeah.
You got to remember, we're in an age of social media now, right?
But he's playing social media better than anybody in the game right
He
now.
does, but he is getting multiple segments on TV now, whether
Mhm.
it's during the commercial breaks, whether it's on the show. He's doing multiple video segments a week with WWE.com or whatever their Twitter feeds are. I
Sure.
just worry that they're giving a little too much too soon. I think with Danhausen,
I don't know
what
if maybe I'll agree with you in 4 or 5 weeks from now, but
I'm
right
not
now
saying
I think we're getting
I'm
just
not
enough.
saying it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm just worried that they're taking the bloom off the rose by giving us so much of him so soon.
I am
Now he's
loving
hit a
that
home
they're
run. He's
not
hit a home run every week. I'm not
and
saying
I'm loving that
he's doing a
they
great job.
didn't I love that they didn't WWEify him either. The Danhausen we're getting is the Danhausen that I watched on the Indies for years.
Mhm.
It's the Danhausen that we got to see
The
bits
the
and
little
pieces of in
things
AEW.
the little things they do with him, like when the lights go out and he's running to the back and they bring the lights back on and show him running to the back. I like a lot of the little things like that, and I do agree. I just hope that they're not like they're being like, here's Danhausen, I don't want them to
Do you want to
like
know the worst thing they could possibly do right now, though? And I'm afraid they're going to do it, but hopefully not. Do not WWE. Do not put him in a match with the Miz at WrestleMania.
not at WrestleMania, but I think The
No,
Miz should be his first opponent.
sure, but I'm really afraid that they're going to pull the trigger at WrestleMania, and I think that's the worst thing you could do for Danhausen right now. I hadn't thought about it before, but I love your idea of him being the host. I think that's
I
the
wouldn't
perfect spot for him.
I wouldn't complain if they wanted him to have his first match at WrestleMania with The Miz, but I'm fine with him being the host also.
Yeah, I think he needs to be at WrestleMania. I think he needs a
Oh, he will
prominent
be.
part of WrestleMania, but I don't think he needs to wrestle yet.
Yeah, he will be. He'll be there.
Okay, what else do you have?
All right. I've got two things here. Really quickly, I got three things. Really quickly, I just want to mention the WWE Hall of Fame. They've announced for the Legacy Wing, Sid
Mhm.
and Bad News Brown. Great to see them get the recognition.
Sure.
I do think Sid should be a full-on inductee, though. I don't agree with him being part of the Legacy Wing. I would like to kind of see the Legacy Wing
I
changed a little bit.
I don't understand the concept of Legacy Wing. When they introduced it, what was it, 7, 8 years ago? I remember thinking, okay, so what is this thing? And then all of a sudden, it's like, here's Legacy Wing. We're just gonna really fast, rapidly say 16 names and expect you to just, yeah, these are the people.
I think
And
with the legacy wing
some of the
though,
people that got shoved in there are just like, whoa, 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 wait a
yeah.
minute, what, you know?
I think that the legacy wing should be more dedicated to people from the 70s
Sure.
and 60s and maybe very
Uh,
early 80s before television was really
like
prominent.
you go and tell me the haystacks count. You just said that right now. The people who there's not enough footage of and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's how you honor these guys. I was just about to say when you go and tell me the haystacks Calhoun is in the legacy wing, I'm not blinking.
Yeah, that's cool. Great place
But
for him.
but somebody like Sid or even Bad News Brown,
Yeah.
there's enough there to give them a full induction.
Mhm.
I'm not going to lie to you. I thought Bad News Brown went in years
No,
ago.
yeah.
I
I
really did.
mean, I'm fine with Bad News going in the legacy wing because like Bad News is a great character. He had a really good run. But I mean, like he wasn't like champion. He wasn't like the top guy. He wasn't like
No,
he was a great, very underrated mid-card performer in the WWE. I get it if they want to put him in the
but
legacy. Sid was a big draw all over the
now
world.
now I don't know if they're just changing the maybe they're just now using the legacy wing. Okay, this is where we're putting dead guys. You know what I
But
mean?
yeah, I mean,
People who can't be here to accept their award, blah blah blah. They are now legacy.
mhm,
If they're going to do this and not throw in 30, because that's part of my problem. They just rapidly give us so many names.
yeah,
If they're just going to do one or two a year just to be able to uh, induct the dead wrestlers, but you do it respectively, you give them a good package and everything, I'm going to be okay with it. But don't just brush it off because I feel like the legacy wing has been brushed off every year.
100%.
If you do it respectfully, I'm going to be okay with this. Sid, however, Sid's a two-time WrestleMania headliner, a former WWE champion, a former WCW champion. He is a bona fide star. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He
Yep.
should have went in when he was still alive.
Mhm.
So if they just kind of brush him under the rug on this, or even if they give him what I call um the what do you call them, the natural disasters uh effect, what they did last year.
Yeah, they inducted Typhoon.
Yeah, but did you not feel like they didn't give them enough last year?
No,
You
I
know what I
thought it
mean?
was fine.
Nah, they didn't even get an induction. They sure brought Jimmy Hart out,
The
and
natural disasters got an induction last year. Typhoon
no,
gave a speech.
it wasn't. I don't know. They didn't do enough.
That's he
But
he got what everybody else got last year. What else do you want the natural disasters to get?
then who inducted them?
I don't
Nobody.
remember.
No, because nobody did. They just
Hmm,
said, "Okay, Typhoon, come up here."
whatever.
That's all they did.
They got a speech. It's more than most.
Anyways, I don't know. I think we should be seeing more for Sid, but that's just me.
I agree.
If let's say if Sid was to be inducted properly,
Hmm.
who would induct him?
Sid?
Yeah,
Um, I don't know, maybe Taker.
Taker comes to mind for sure. Sean,
Sean would be great. I'd
Sean,
say Sean.
I think Sean's one of his greatest opponents, one of his greatest rivals.
Yeah, I'd say Sean might be the right choice.
Who are his bigger rivals in WCW?
Nash.
Yeah,
Nah.
but yeah, but I'm thinking like
Sting.
before.
Sting was a
I was
big
thinking
one.
Sting. Yeah. Okay, what's left? We got
I
to get
got
into this list.
I got one more thing I want to talk about here, and it's comments that Paul Heyman has recently made, and I want to
I
know.
know where you're going with this. Okay, go
Now
ahead.
I don't know if we're gonna get into this week or maybe this could be a next week thing because I want to
Mm,
see what side you lay on here.
sure.
Paul Heyman has come out and said that he is a far better manager than Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Bobby is not in his league.
Now, this is not the first time he said this, though. He said this a couple of years ago. He said the same thing about Jimmy Hart. He said this about a few guys. But yes, he has re-said it lately. Yeah.
What side are you on here? Is Paul Heyman the greatest manager in wrestling history?
Okay. I'm going to play very close to the wire here because we've done this list and Paul Heyman was the greatest manager in history. We put him in the number one spot.
Now, but
Yes.
we didn't include Bobby Heenan on that
No,
list.
we did include Bobby Heenan.
Did we? I thought it was the
Bob,
greatest. I thought we specifically said
no,
Bobby
because
Heenan's not on the list.
WrestleMania did that list without Bobby Heenan, so we said we have to do it with Bobby.
I don't recall. Either way.
Anyways, yes, I do put Paul ahead of Bobby. Now, where I don't agree is the concept of him being far better than Bobby.
Well, it
I
depends how
Bobby
you look
Bob
at that comment.
Bobby's a for me Bobby's a close second.
How do you look at that comment? Do you look at it as performers or do you look at it as accolades? Because Heyman addressed it as accolades.
If it's accolades, fucking put Bobby at the bottom of the list. he, I mean, he had King Kong Bundy and the Brooklyn Brawler. Like no. But for me, I go by performance. If you're going by accolades, there's nobody that touches Heyman. Nobody.
I think
No
Heyman,
manager in
yeah.
history. No manager in history. Maybe Paul Bear. Maybe can touch
He
him with
doesn't even come
accolades.
close. Doesn't even
No,
come close. Paul
no,
Heyman,
nobody touches Paul.
I do take Paul Heyman's side on this. I do think he is the greatest manager of all time. So there will be no
Now,
debate then.
here's where I'm going to get a little bit of heat. Bobby Heenan, better commentator than manager.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think Bobby's most memorable work comes from his commentary.
right.
Now Bobby was a great
I
manager
think when
too.
people call Bobby the greatest, I think they kind of mix the
They lip
two
them
up.
together 100%.
Yeah.
I think Bobby
If
is
you look
a
at Bobby's like I'm not saying Bobby's manager work wasn't phenomenal because it was, but
yeah.
then you look at it. I feel like you and I did a list a few years ago I think it was our very first list, the factions list.
Mhm.
And when we redid that factions list years later, we couldn't put the Heenan family on the list because
I don't think they made my original list either.
if you go back, you're like the Heenan family, they didn't do anything.
Well, they did everything. They just weren't champions.
You
But they were
know?
the top heels in the company.
But you look at the list of
But they were
people.
Hogan's feeders, right?
They were all Hogan's feeders. I think the most successful person he ever managed was probably Andre.
Yeah, Andre.
Yeah. And who else?
Oh,
You
Orndorff.
know? Yeah.
Orndorff
Yeah.
and Hogan did huge business
But
together.
no, I'm totally on Paul Heyman's side on this.
All right, well, then that will end that debate. And really quickly, I just want to mention the passing of Dennis Condrey from the Midnight
Yeah,
Express.
for sure.
Very sad story of how this happened, too. Have you heard the story?
I haven't, no.
So, his wife was 9 days away from retiring. He had been pushing her to retire from work. This is from Jim Cornette, so I believe it.
I heard Cornette give him a very nice tribute.
And he was supposed to pick his wife up from work, and he didn't show up to get her. So she was concerned, got the neighbors to check in on it. He actually fell at home and broke his neck, and the complications of that led to his passing. So
That's
very
horrible.
sad. He was paralyzed. He would have been paralyzed if he did survive. He would have been paralyzed from the neck down, and very, very sad story. He was 9 days away from his wife's retirement so they could spend more time together. One half of one of the greatest tag teams of all time, the Midnight Express. Great feud with the original Midnight Express against the Bobby Eaton Stan Lane version of Midnight Express and Crockett Promotions.
Mm-hmm.
AWA Tag Team Champion, NWA Tag Team Champion. If you want to look up the definition of tag team wrestling, you watch the Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express. So I just want to take a moment and acknowledge the passing of Dennis Condrey.
Absolutely.
And with that, we will get into the list. It is the top 7 WrestleMania pops of all time. Very hard list to make. I am sure we are going to have very different lists, and I'm very excited to get into that. And I think we just jump right into it.
All right, we're doing top pops. I feel like we're going to be on different ends of a lot of this, but I'm going off of like I rewatched a lot of these. And when I say rewatched, I mean I rewatched them on loop. to really see the pops, and then I would go and watch another one, and then go back to the one before. I watched hours and hours of pops for this list because I know some of them you're going to be like, oh no, that was louder, dude. I watched and I watched and I watched. So
He's got
some
the
of them you're going to
decimal
be like,
meter. He's got the decimal scale
yeah,
meter up.
So some of them you're going to be like, and I didn't only go by volume. I went by reaction when they do the panning of the camera and you see the emotional reaction of the fans. That plays a long way with me as well. Okay, so we're gonna start off with one of the earliest big pops in WrestleMania history. I think it has to be talked about. I might get heat for having it on my list, but I'm going to do it anyways. And I'm going to talk about Hogan slamming Andre.
Okay, yeah, this was on my honorable mention list for
It
sure.
didn't. It was very very close to not making my list, but I this was one of the biggest pops of early WWE. It was one of the biggest holy shit moments that got replayed for years
Hmm.
and years and years and years up until probably the Attitude Era where things started getting a little bit more crazy. That was one of the biggest moments in wrestling history.
If you're doing like most iconic moments in wrestling history, this makes my list without a doubt. The
Mhm.
pop is incredible.
The
It
pop is
really
incredible
is,
for the time, which is why it's my number seven.
which is fair. And I don't have a problem with this being on your list. I could easily have substituted this for what my number seven is as well.
Sure. Number seven, this is where
Number
I
six.
or sorry, number six is where I'm going to get my heat from you, and that's okay because I justify it with everything I just said about really watching these pops.
Okay.
This pop was massive, which is why it's on a top seven list. It's just not as massive as five other ones. I'm going to WrestleMania 17, Jeff Hardy being speared off the ladder.
Okay. My number six is also from WrestleMania 17, but it is not the spear. This was an honorable mention for me as well.
Wow, wasn't this your number one a few days ago?
No, no,
When
The Hardy Boys return at WrestleMania was my number one a few days
oh,
ago.
that's not what you texted to me. You said Jeff Hardy. You didn't say the Hardys. You said Jeff Hardy.
I don't
So
recall
to
that.
me, that was this spot.
I
Funny
don't,
because this almost didn't make my list, but
I think I said the
again,
Hardys.
anyways,
I know this one
this
did not make my list, but it
again
was
this almost didn't make my list. But if I rewatched it over and over again, and you can't take it away, it's a huge pop.
100%. And
It
again,
really is.
I mean, number seven, number six spot, I won't fight you on it. I just think that the pops that I have chosen are a little bigger.
This one I know is on your list because you told me it was. You also told me it's in a very prominent position. So you're going to disagree on it being my number five, but I am going Dangle Bryan and the Yes Movement.
I had this as my number three.
Okay.
This was a
I
huge
just think
pop.
I
This
just
was a
think my
huge
number
pop
three is
that
a
went on
way
for a
louder.
long time.
That's why it has to make the list because it was just so it just kept going. I don't think the initial reaction was amazing, and then it kind of died off, but it just kept going for a long time.
Hmm.
And it was a very cool moment. Very cool moment. What was that? That was my number five, right?
Number
My
five.
number four. My number four. This is where I'm going to warn Rob to turn off his Spotify, walk away because Rob loves it when I do a tie. I'm doing a tie this week. We are doing Stone Cold Steve Austin and his pops at WrestleMania 30 and WrestleMania 32. I just
Okay.
I watched them both over and over and over again, and they are hand in hand. They one's not bigger than the other.
I also had Stone Cold on my list. I had him in the number six spot, but I had his entrance at WrestleMania 17
See,
as
I 17 did not make my list. It's an honorable mention. I just don't think it's quite as loud as these ones.
that one was a goosebump one for me.
Sure.
I mean, I think they're all probably pretty close. I'm not gonna be like, no, this Stone Cold pop was better.
Yeah.
The one at
Well,
32
I
was
originally on my first list written down, I had four spots for Stone Cold. I had 17, 30, 32, and 38.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fault you for having all those on there. I would they're all big pops. Like they're all big pops. I went with 17 because I couldn't really pick between the three, and I just thought that
Mhm.
was a more iconic moment. If you put a gun to my head, I would probably choose the 32 pop as the biggest, but I don't know, man, that's a hard one to go between.
My number three, I think when I mentioned before the emotion, I really bring in the emotion. I don't think there's a more emotional pop than my number three.
Okay.
We're gonna go Kofi Mania.
I had Kofi Mania at my number seven.
Number seven. Okay.
So we pretty
I
much
the
switched Daniel Bryan and Kofi. Like
Sure.
that's
The reason it made my number three is because I don't, without rewatching it, I don't even know if it makes my list because my memory of it just wasn't there.
mhm.
Rewatching it, I think they do me a favor for this by showing the backstage reaction of the wrestlers, stuff like that. That goes a long way as well, which is kind of cheating, but it really helped with it. And then showing the pan of the crowd, there were people jumping up and down. There were people crying. There were people just so happy for Kofi. Honestly, happy for Black people
Yeah.
that they finally got this. It was a massive moment. You want to talk about how long Daniel Bryan's pop lasted? This one lasted almost as long. It just kept going and going. The New Day celebrating was beautiful. I love everything about this entire pop.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I think this was a great moment. I have it on a different place on mine. I actually just moved it to my number six spot because I just remembered something different.
My number two is one you just mentioned. This is insane. WrestleMania 33, the Hardys return, is something I've never like. I remember watching that. I watched that with I think I watched that with my friend Ray, and I remember think when the music started, I popped,
Yeah.
but then I popped again because of the pop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was insane. And they're outside. How do you get that loud outside?
Yeah.
You have heard so many, like I think this goes back to WrestleMania 7 or 17, sorry, where there are certain, or maybe it was 16, I can't remember, but there are certain WrestleManias where people come back going, oh, they didn't like our shit. They didn't cheer because the volume goes up and doesn't come back down. WrestleMania 33, the volume went nowhere. It may have went up, but
Well, I was
but
open.
it spread.
It was open air, like an open stadium too. There was no
Yeah,
roof for it to even bounce back. Like,
right. That was one of the probably the loudest pop I've ever heard in open air. Like that's just insane to me. Um, what a great moment as well for
absolutely.
everybody involved.
Absolutely.
From Michael Cole yelling, "Things are about to get broken," to them making their way down the ring. Obviously, some people were in on it. Some people thought it was happening because you've seen Hardy Boy signs in the crowd. There were some Hardy Boy chants. Not me, but I had no idea this was going to happen, and I popped for real.
I
It was
was
great.
I was happy with it. Also my number two moment as well. And if you
The
want to
number
hear the Hardy Boys talk about that, go back in the archives because Matt Hardy does and Jeff both talked about this moment when we interviewed them last year.
mm-hmm. My number one is without a doubt. I don't think it's the biggest pop in WrestleMania history. It might be the biggest pop in wrestling history. Maybe, anyways,
It's up there if it's the one I'm
and
thinking of.
not because it's not just a pop. It's not a pop for something that happened. It's just a pop for the feeling, the emotion, the what. Holy shit! What are we about to see? Moment. And if it's the one, if you and I are on the same page, you were there. You were
I
part of this
was.
pop. We're going to WrestleMania 18 for Rock and Hogan standoff.
Okay, now
Um,
I'm going to tweak your number one a little bit
okay.
because this is also my number one, but it's not the standoff. It's the Hulk
You
up.
could do the entire match because the
Mm.
when Hogan hulks up,
The Hulk
uh,
up, the
the
Hulk
Hulk up
up.
is huge.
I don't think I've ever heard anything louder in my entire life.
Yeah,
I think that is one of the
the
biggest
entire
pops.
match falls in the category.
Yeah, but that Hulk up was the
Yeah,
biggest peak I have ever felt. Like that was
I think I just really like
and Jim Ross, he beat Andre the Giant with that move. That's one of the greatest calls of his career.
I just like the standoff because with the Hulk up, it's that's very much like the spear off the ladder. You're reacting to something that just happened.
Mhm.
There's something to be said about reacting to something that hasn't happened yet. The pub of anticipation. There's something very special about that.
Mhm.
You can pop when you hear Austin's glass shatter. You can pop when you see a big finisher. You can even pop when a match ends in the way you wanted it to end, or a surprising fashion. That reactive pops is what wrestling is all made of. This pop is so different, the standoff pop, because people are like, we have waited our entire lives to see something like this.
Yeah, it was the coolest live event I've ever, coolest live experience I've ever been
I
to.
remember watching WrestleMania 18, and I wasn't there, not like you were, but I watched it on TV, and I remember thinking I wasn't into this match at all because I'm not a Hogan guy, and I wasn't that big of a Rock guy. But you can't help but get sucked into this
Oh, it was
when the pop
crazy.
is happening. You
Like
know what I
Hogan,
mean?
Hogan reverted an entire stadium back to their childhood.
I watch and then I go back and I watch WrestleMania 6 in the same building. And it's the same thing. I'm not a Hogan guy, I'm not a Warrior guy, but that match sucks you in. And
Great
for
match.
for 20 minutes you become a Hogan or a Warrior guy. I've only been lucky enough, I guess, to witness Hogan live once in my life. I've only seen Hogan live once, which
I
is
think I
strange.
think I've only seen him twice.
And for me, it was a Raw in Montreal during the build up to SummerSlam
Mm.
'05. '05. Uh, when Hogan's music hit twice that night. Once during Shawn Michaels' little
Promo.
tease.
Yeah.
I I popped just like everybody else did. But later when he comes out for the show,
He worked Kurt Angle that night, right?
he sure did. And then he worked again in the dark match after the show, believe it or not. Um I remember just feeling going like it's almost like my body betrayed me. Because my head's going, you're not a Hulkamaniac, who cares? Why am I standing up? Why are my hands in the air? Why am I cheering? Because the music, the circumstance, the thing that Hogan just brought out in people, and
Yeah.
of course the environment, the rest
I
of the crowd cheering. There's something to be said. I'm not going to be
I
the guy that lists off a lot of nice things about Hulk Hogan, but damn, was there something special about him?
I honestly felt like I almost had an out of body experience when he was hulking up at WrestleMania. I've never felt that before. It was crazy. I've seen Hogan twice. I saw him on a Raw also, where he worked against Ric Flair, which was awesome. Um, our lists are very similar. I just kind of tweaked
Okay,
mine.
what did I miss off your list before I get into the
I mean,
honorable mentions?
I think with a lot of these you can flip coins. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I
Yeah.
tweaked my list a little bit on the fly, and I have a weird one that I it's not. We'll get to it. For
Okay.
my number seven, I switch it to a tie between Kofi and Austin because you got a tie,
Okay.
so I want a tie.
Sure.
My number six, I went with I went back to Hell in a Cell with Triple H and Taker, the near fall with the sweet chin music into the pedigree.
That's interesting. Interesting.
Very, very
Okay.
big pop.
I
Very,
didn't
very
even
big
consider
pop.
that one. I considered um Sean kicking out of the tombstone
Honorable
at
mention.
I considered that one, but I
Honorable
didn't consider
mention.
that.
Go
That's
back and
funny.
watch that pop.
Okay.
Okay, here's where this is a pop that wasn't a pop. And I want your
Mhm.
opinion on what you think about this.
Sure.
I put Brock Lesnar ending the Undertaker's streak.
I can't consider that a pop.
I think
Is
it's the most deafening moment in wrestling history.
it is the the epitome of deafening silence. You know what I mean? Because people are
Now, a
like,
pop is a
"What the fuck?"
reaction. A
Pop
pop is
is
a
a reaction.
reaction.
Yeah.
I feel like that the silence
Hmm.
after the streak
The
and the
confusion. The
growing is one of the most deafening pops I've ever heard in my entire life.
I'm going to stick with my guns and say no.
Well, then
It's
we
not
lose
going to
the
make my
tie. Then
list.
we lose the tie. But I wanted to just mention that because it's a different
Hey,
take
if
on
it
a
was your
pop.
list and you did it, I wouldn't argue with you. I
It's a
wouldn't, but
different spin on a
yeah,
pop.
yeah.
My number four, I put Cody Rhodes finishing the story.
Okay.
The build up.
I did rewatch it during my run. I just found that the ones I mentioned were bigger pops.
I just think that whole like last 10 minutes, like
Hmm.
each person coming and the pops getting bigger, and then that moment with Cody, that pop I rewatched it this morning when he pinned Roman was a
Sure.
big pop. Then I went Daniel Bryan, Hardy's, and Hogan Rock, so we're not too far off.
All right. I have some I really wish could have made the list.
Yeah, I
The
mean you
first,
could make like five lists out of this.
yes, the first honorable mention I'm going to tell you was my original number seven.
Okay.
And I don't know if I ever had a harder time kicking a number seven off my list, but I think, and you'd agree with me, I think this is a hard pick. And that's why it got kicked off.
Okay.
When I really do my due diligence and look at it, was the pop bigger than all the others? No. But this is the ultimate heart pick for me. And my first honorable mention is the Ultimate Warrior's return at
Yeah,
WrestleMania 8.
that's actually my first honorable mention as well.
I love this moment. I
Great.
absolutely love this moment.
You made the right call
Even
leaving off
Papa
your
Shaw
list,
goes
though.
fuck up can't ruin this moment.
You made the right
You
call
know?
leaving it off. I have a deep cut one for an honorable mention.
Okay.
It's at WrestleMania, ooh, whatever the year Ronda made her debut was, 36 maybe,
Mm-hmm.
37,
You
one of
talk
those.
yeah.
When her and Triple H square up and she beats the shit out of
Okay.
Triple H.
Yep.
Man, that place was losing their mind. When she did that roll through and picked Triple H up, wow, that was a
Yep.
big pop.
I have two, believe it or not, I have two Ronda Rousey moments on my list on my honorable mentions. That it's the not that match in general, but her her square off with Triple H, 100%, and her losing to Becky Lynch is on my list.
I didn't see the hype on that one. I didn't feel it was as
There was a
loud.
there was a big pop.
I've got
Um,
the return of Taker at Mania 20 as an honorable
20.
mention.
That's my very next one. I've got the reuniting of Liz and Macho at 7.
Good call. I've got the RKO on Seth Rollins at Mania.
Fuck, that's one I forgot. That was going to be on my list.
It's a big pop.
Same mania. Seth cashing in,
Yeah.
big pop. Yeah, if I had to redo my list, I think that might be that RKO was probably my number 6 or 7. I forgot about that. I wanted that on my list. I've got Foley and Edge going through the table at 22,
Yeah, it was not I wouldn't say it's one of the biggest pops ever, but a great moment.
and then I've already mentioned it, but I've got uh, Michaels at WrestleMania 27.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
mean
few pops. Him just the end of that match, him got a big pop. Him kicking a Tombstone gets a big pop. Uh, I think that's all. Yeah, that's all the ones I wrote down, anyways.
we could list 100 more moments, but we'd be
Mm-hmm.
here all day. I think we'll put a pin on the show this week, but before we wrap it
And that's
up,
just Mania. That's not even wrestling
oh,
history.
100%. Well, before we wrap up the show, we need to know what I guess what list I'm doing next week.
Yep, I thought about it the entire show. I think this person has done 7 Manias. God, I hope so. For you, I've chosen Bret Hart.
Ugh, I love that, but I have to watch a lot of wrestling now.
He's got 7, right? For sure.
Yeah, he was at
Yeah.
2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Okay.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13 was his and 26. Okay, I mean I love Bret Hart, so that's great.
I know you do. And I'm the guy who pretends to hate Bret Hart until I watch his matches. So I'm going to love your show. I'm going to
Okay,
love
I'm
yours.
down with that. Well, you gave me somebody from the past, so I'm going to stick with somebody from the present then,
Hmm.
because
Interesting. Okay.
there are three big names rolling into WrestleMania this year.
Ooh, who are you going to give me?
Now,
Okay.
one of them is CM Punk, which I'm
Okay.
not going to give you because I would like to do that list. I was really hoping you
Sure.
were going to pick him for me.
I see.
The other one is Randy Orton, but I'm not going to make you watch 22 WrestleMania matches because I'm not an asshole. So I have decided to choose the
Have it.
guy that has exactly seven WrestleMania matches.
Can I
And
guess?
yeah,
Is it Roman?
it is not.
Okay.
It is the man that will be headlining the Hall of Fame class this year, AJ Styles.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. I like that a lot. Okay. Fuck. And you know what? I've only got 7 matches to watch, and those are fun matches, except I have to watch a Shane McMahon match.
Fair
Damn you.
enough. But people seem to love that match, and I don't know why.
I yeah, maybe my memory of it is just I'm just not
Well,
by that point, I was like, why do we keep giving Shane McMahon Mania things? Because they had already done the Hell in the Cell with Taker for some stupid reason, and
do you know
he
why I
did the stuff
picked?
with
Do you know why I
Miz,
picked
and I
AJ
liked his match with
also?
Miz, but
There's a second reason why I picked AJ is that I feel like every year people are overly excited for AJ Styles WrestleMania matches that
mhm.
they never say that they're good because I just think the expectations are too high. So I'm very excited to
But
see
going back to
what a
them,
fresh set of eyes
yes,
not being like, "Oh my God, this match just happened." Because AJ has had some banger opponents at WrestleMania. So I'm very excited to see the different set of eyes looking at these matches and not just being like, that Shinsuke match was terrible. It probably wasn't terrible. It was probably a pretty good match.
right. Okay, so we got the next 3 weeks lined up, my friends. Next week, we will see Tyler counting down the top 7 Bret Hart WrestleMania matches, followed me doing the top 7 AJ Styles matches, followed by a generic list by Tyler. You can
Mystery
pick anything
WrestleMania
in
list.
any WrestleMania you want. And then WrestleMania will be done and over with. We'll get back to our championship series. We have some friends in the wait that have made their own lists. I can't wait for that. And it'll be business as usual.
Correct.
Until next week, though, do you have anything else?
I'm ready to say cheers.
And I'm ready to say thanks for joining us once again, my loves.
Ugh.
I haven't done that. I haven't done that in too long. Until next week with our WrestleMania series, you have been counted out.
Cheers.